what's up? Another day, another dollar. Here you back at it again, another video. So today is that big day. I made a video earlier, like a day before, but that was just me putting some of the pieces together with the transmission. But I decided not to drop that video because one, it wasn't that long. Two, this is a little bit more interesting so you guys can watch. So pretty much, for the last time you saw, I had the transmission right here. This is the old transmission underneath this bag. So I took it out. I had to switch over the shift bushings off the shift linkages. I can't really show you guys right now, but yeah, but if you guys know what the shift linkage is, I'll show you guys off of this transmission. So yeah, the shift linkages was originally, like the shift bushings was originally on here. This was one and this was two. I had to swap it over. It was very seized. This one was very seized on there. I'm not even gonna lie. So what I had to do is really just cut the bushing off, scrape it, and I got it like very good. And I took a heat and heated up the little metal piece that actually goes in the bushing. So I heat that up, put a little crayon, wiggle it back and forth, and I got that out. Slipped it back on for the new transmission. So only thing is I have to just probably get some silicone to re-silicone the new bushing. Only reason why I'm doing this because Mitsubishi don't sell new parts for like little stuff like that, so you have to custom make it, sadly. So that is a couple of things that is just like, if it's not 100% broken, just fix it. Why spend the money? Just if you can fix something and you don't have to spend the money, regardless whatever it is your car. Do whatever you do so you can save the money. Just like this right here off of my you could probably sell right here. Yeah, if you can see right there, that's off of my rack and pinion. And something I had to fix down the line because I took it to a shop and they put a hose there, and I told them just to replace the line. They could have just soldered it, but it is what it is. So that is a couple things that eventually that line will pop off, and power steering will go out. So I have to replace the rack and pinion, but I took the belt off, so I don't even have power steering. That's right there is just lose horsepower. If I want power steering, I get the daily that got the AC and everything. So in this car, we probably might get the AC done, but right now we only care about the car moving and rolling. So now this is the moment that you guys have been waiting for. By the way, the throwout bearing, if anybody wants to know, the throwout bearing is mint condition. Mint. Way better than the one that was in here. So it came originally. Some people just like to change it out and just change out the throwout bearing. But sorry about the background noises. But pretty much the previous owner of the transmission, so I give you guys a little rundown. We got a hot one today, so I have my shirt off today, but whew. And some guy's cutting on the tree. Yeah, he's right there. Alright, but so pretty much the get-go of the story of this transmission, pretty much. So I was sitting around, I was hanging out with one of my friends. After a certain point, I'm heading back home. I found out some information that let me sit down. So I'm not gonna lie, it's a hot one. Yeah, it's a little hot today. But yeah, don't judge. But so pretty much what happened was, so with this transmission, so pretty much I was heading home. I was heading home, and then I found a part like the day before. There's some information, so anybody who don't know, the 3000 GT, not the VR4, but the SL, the front wheel drive, is two things that you can transfer over from that car onto the Eclipse with the V6. One is a guarantee, the other one is a 75%, the extra 25% is because I didn't do it yet personally. So I don't know yet. But the first thing is the differential. The differential spider gears, and it looks like the differential itself, like the full differential, is the same diff that is pretty much they have in the Eclipse. The different transmission, different bell housing and everything, because the transmission's on the passenger side in 3000 GT, and the Eclipse is on the driver's side. So they did that on purpose. I don't know why. They should have just left it kind of like the same, to be honest. I don't know why they swapped everything over to the other side, from the Eclipse to the 3000 GT, and even from the second gen to the second gen to the third gen. It's still, it's almost the same thing. But that was kind of like one thing that I was thinking about doing. But pretty much, long story short, something told me in my heart not to. It was just something told me just go back home and kind of like just go to sleep and just pick up on the next day. So pretty much that's what I did. And the first thing I did is went on Facebook Marketplace when I woke up. So when I work on Facebook Marketplace, I'm half asleep, by the way, and I see a transmission. The thing says 2005 Mitsubishi Eclipse Spider 5-speed transmission, $100. And I'm just like, he didn't put nothing in the description, nothing extra. So I'm like, $100. I'm like, no way. I'm like, this guy is selling this transmission that's in $100. So pretty much, if anybody who do know about New York, and people who don't know about New York, but the people who do know about New York, that guy lived in Flushing. It was kind of close to Flushing. But if you guys don't know New York like that, if you can say it's in Queens. So if you don't know what Queens is in New York, it's about like 30 minutes drive, depending on the traffic. 30 minutes to 40 minutes drive from at least from Times Square of Manhattan. I know everybody knows Times Square. So it's pretty much like 30 minutes away from there. So pretty much when I got there, the guy, he was just like, you know, I asked him, is it, you know, I saw in the offers you said for $100. And he was like, yeah. But he was like, oh yeah, but other some people hit me up and blah, blah, blah. They was asking for 180, 160. But he was like, since you here right now, can you do 150? I was like, sure. I was like, yeah, I could do 150. So I reached my hand out like this. And then after that, because so when you reach your hand out, that's when you locking out the deal. So it's no words that's said, it's actions. Actions speak louder than words. So when you stick your hand out, that's just kind of showing you that it's just like, you know, that you're really interested in the deal. So if you shook my hand, and ever since the time he shakes your hand, it locks in. You can't change the price, not one bit, because it's, you personally lock it in that price. So I kind of helped him up, pick up the transmission from the basement back upstairs, and then from there I gave him the money. I looked at the first thing I looked at the transmission, but everything was looking mint. And then the guy said 90,000 miles. And the reason why he was getting rid of it so cheap, because he said that, I saw that he had kids, so, and it looked like they was probably maybe like 1 or 2, like it kind of looked like there was 1, maybe 2 years old, so it's probably very new. So he was just like, oh, he wanted to go and race it. He wanted to race it and build it. But then something, I guess something happened, and he ended up wanting, I guess, the kids, family, and he wanted to switch it to an automatic. It's definitely understandable. So he swapped it to an automatic, and that's when he was selling the transmission. And he said that he was gonna just throw it out and junk it. And I was like, wow. I'm like, that's crazy. But this transmission is 90,000 miles and everything looked mint. So, but that is the backstory of how did I get this transmission and how much did I get it for, and all the story that went. Yeah, for the story this all went and everything else like that. So but pretty much, yeah, so that's gonna be it for me talking, and let's get to work and get this thing knocked out. So yeah, I'm gonna try to set up the tripod and the best I can and show you guys me struggling putting in the transmission and everything else like that. So see you guys in a little bit. All right, but there's a couple of things I have to switch over. So is this versus this here. I had to take off this transmission mount, this mount off of this. I want to take off this here just because the bushing wise it's just on there on the other one, and is kind of like, yeah. So that's the only thing that I want to swap over from that to that, because the bushings is not on there. And just for me to get that bushing off, I think I'll probably might break it. I want to be honest. So the only thing is that I really don't want to. Really wish the bushing was on there. I'm not even gonna lie. Even same as this, but sometimes it is what it is. I really don't want to take it off though, because there's no point of me swapping over. I just wish I can take off the shaft part off, but yeah. I'm gonna try to attempt it on this one first and see what I can do. But, all right, so it's been a couple hours, and I swapped over. I still had to put something back on original transmission because I still want to fix that transmission. So right now, what I'm not really dealing with, pretty much what I got finished doing. I had to take off these brackets. I took off these brackets here. I had to transfer over the mounts because the mounts on the original, yeah, this is one of them. It wasn't showing. It didn't have it on there. And the other one, I tried to take it apart, try to get this off, and try to second slip that one, this part right here, that was onto the new knuckle, but it was too seized, and I wasn't trying to deal with that, the pin. So what I did was just heated up the torch. I got the bushing off. I just cut it right in half, and I just slid it apart, and I had the bushing right here. So it's a lot better condition. Before it was seized on there, but for right now, I think that will be good for right now. I could probably, I'm gonna put some silicone. I can buy some new bushings, but for time being, I can put some silicone on it, and it will just stay in place. And then time I get the hooks back on there, and it's not gonna come off. So a couple things I was thinking about replacing is the throwout bearing. I was thinking about doing this, but to be honest, it spins perfectly fine. I don't even hear no bad bearing play, even though sometimes people say recommend to change these every time. But one thing I do say is this one right here is way better than the one that I just replaced not too long ago, like in that transmission. This one feels a little bit tighter, so, and then it feels a lot better. So, but yeah, I even have the vent tubes and everything. But if you can see the spider, you can't really see the spider gears in there, but it do rotate. It do go into gear. Let me show you guys. Right now it's in neutral, but let me just put it in first gear. Ow, I just stabbed myself with the pin. Alright, I don't know what gear that was in, but you see, it's rotating. So that's the plus. It's rotating, so that means all the gearing is perfect in there. So right now I was just finishing up doing a little bit stuff before I transferred over. Sensors, I never changed not one sensor on this transmission. By the way, these are some of the bolts for this, but I never changed that one bolt, one sensor off to this transmission. Even not this, and these look crappy. And this transmission is a lot newer. As you can tell, it looks a lot cleaner and stuff like that. But pretty much, yeah. So right now I'm at the stage of just putting everything back together. That I'm deciding, should I just attempt to do it today and put the transmission in, and at least get it bolted up, or should I just save this for a different day? Because right now it's 4 o'clock and I kind of did a lot. So Only thing is, yeah, I think I still, head grind never stops. Let's see if we can, because that would have been dope. If I can get this transmission in, if I can get this transmission in the car and at least bolted it up, that would have been at least excellent. Because then from there, that would have been the hardest part of the, that would be the hardest part really of doing. So then from there, the time I get, let's say, the transmission on, that would just be the simple stuff like fluids, axles, radiator, battery tray, battery intake, shift linkages, motor mounts, the 9 yards. So that would take a different day, a full day setup. So I can do all of that in one day. But this right here, I can possibly knock this out. I found out a couple tricks what I need to do. So like right now, if you guys can tell, right now it's kind of sitting on an angle because mainly I have the true jack stands. I said this thing for last time, and I don't know why I did to do this the second time, but pretty much right now I have to do is slightly drop down the motor, not too much, but slightly drop it down. Get my other jack it up in the back so I can kind of be even. But before I do that, this transmission has to be on this transmission jack, and that has to be underneath the car before I can do all of that. Because if I do jack up the back, I'm not gonna have enough room for the transmission to even go underneath the car. So really how it is sitting right now in this transmission, this is the only way how I can get it out. All right, I kind of lost my train of thought, honestly. I really did. But the one thing I do say is, yeah, I've totally forgot what I was just talking about not too long ago. But scratch all of that, what I was talking about. I guess right now I pretty much set up everything with the transmission. I forgot something when I took off the shift linkages. It was just one little bearing that I had to put in there when I took off the shift linkage system. So that is pretty much this here. That is pretty much this here. This big giant piece. Hopefully you guys can hear me because I put my phone away, like far away. But yeah, that was the piece. So really, then really just from there, yeah, everything is kind of set up pretty good. Like at first, my dad told me he was wanting like to clean it and stuff like that. But honestly, if I'm gonna be cleaning the transmission, I would have cleaned the engine. The engine is way more dirty than that this transmission is, by far. So that's probably down the line. I'm gonna definitely do this engine clean. That's probably requires me to take this thing back out again, but to do a full one. But it is what it is. We try to do that down the line whenever we come across. But to be honest, I would rather clean everything while the transmission is in the car and stuff like that, because that's sometimes it's too much work to take out everything and then just to clean stuff, make it all new, and then put it back together. Sometimes it's a little bit too much for all of that. But one thing I do say is I'm going to set up this camera up and let you guys see how it works. And pretty much, yeah, I'm gonna drag this transmission back in. So but yeah, well, I'm gonna get this transmission underneath the car first, get it all set up, because honestly I don't want you guys to see me struggling to put this transmission. Let me get up to put this transmission off of here, move this wheel and slip it under here. No lifting room to lift up the transmission off the floor onto the jack, and then I can jack it up to put it up to here. But before I get to that, then I have to do the stuff with this. So my thing is today, just by me thinking about all of that, that's gonna take like at least maybe an hour or two, like at least an hour just to get all of that stuff. So this is one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go one step at a time like we always do, and I'm gonna just kind of get this thing all situated right here. Get this situated, moved out the way. But I'm gonna try to get this jack on top of the jack stand and get and really go from there. And if I still got time to clean and everything else, because I don't want to be working on this car like at least at 7 o'clock, because I still got other days I can easily work on this car. Especially since I'm doing outside. And I'm not really in a big rush. So, let's get to work. But I have to put this thing back together first. So, let's get to work. But, whew, it's coming together. It's coming together. All right, so I got the transmission bolted in. Low-key forgot how long it been ever since I last recorded. I was supposed to do something over there, but I ended up procrastinating and just relaxing because it was a little bit too hot outside and I was exhausted really. But everything is looking good for this. So really, the only thing I really need to do is just to jack up the engine, jack up the transmission, and just get the motor mounts put on, and just put the motor mounts on, so and everything to be good. So other than that, then yeah, that's gonna really be it for today. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Guess I'll show you guys a little bit of recording, because I'll show you guys a little bit putting bolts in and stuff. But let me just put on these mortar mounts on, and then from there I'm gonna close out this video, and then after that we're gonna see you guys in day 8 and me putting up the little stuff like the radiator and all the fluids and all type of stuff, 90 yards. That will be a whole entire separate video because I don't have the fluids yet, and all that's gonna take another all day type of thing. But yeah, just stay tuned. Day 8 or day 9 or day 10, one of the two is definitely, you're gonna see the wheels gonna start rotating. It's gonna start moving. I'm gonna keep it on the jack stands, just like how it is right now. But that's gonna be it for me talking. And let's put the motor mounts on. So, oh, this is what I wanted to do before I put it on. I wanted to fill up this with the gun here. So that's what I was supposed to do. So before I put the motor mounts on and everything, I wanted to put this in there, so everything will be looking good for this. So, all right, so let me get everything good on this, because I had to step off the seam and stuff like that, get it all ready, and then kind of show you guys too. Well, make sure you say this because you feel that again. So this is what I'm doing. Alright, let's move the camera. I'm going to my leggings on. Old school, but let me get something a little bit bigger. And pretty much you just kind of like just really just doing this really. So this is pretty much one side is done. So, and I'll show you guys what the before and after. So pretty much I'm not done yet with this side. Let me just zoom up the camera up a little bit. Alright, so pretty much you see how it is, right? You kind of like just want to build it up. I missed the spot right there, but you kind of like just want to just build it up, smoothing it out the best that you can. So what I mean by smoothing it out, take like anything that you don't care about. So I'm gonna just use this glove. Yeah, I'm gonna use this glove, but hopefully, let me see, I can double it, because I don't want this to go on my hands. Alright, but it is what it is. Just take this right here and just smoothing it around. And then you can take the excess, you spread it over so you can just fill in the cracks, you know. So just me by doing like this, I got a little bit in my hands, but it's okay. So now this is a solid mortar mount. I can put a little bit more at the bottom, like you can tell, see how it loops down a little bit. I can probably put a little bit more right there, but and take this out. Watch your hands. So it's a messy job, really. That's the only thing about this. I do recommend wearing gloves, but me, I hate wearing gloves with a passion. I don't even. I don't. It doesn't matter how dirty my hands will be. I just like I'd rather have my hands dirty and I can feel what I'm doing than just not feel at all, and something might happen to damage my hand. You never know, whatever situation, but sometimes you will never know when it happens until it happens, and then when it happens, it's too late. But this is pretty good, I will say, for at least for this side. I can, let me see, I can write some down, like so. This on the corner right here just need a little splash. All right, so take the glove and brush it right over. So when this cures, This is going to be very solid. All right. Whew. I did a lot today. So I think me personally, I'm gonna leave this how it is. I probably might do that motor mount a different day, honestly, and me keep it really real. Just might do that one a different day, just because I'm tired and exhausted. So sometimes in life, when you want things to be done, my bad, trying to get the camera. But yeah, sometimes in life that you just need to take time, just not do too much. Sit right here. All right, so I did a lot of work today. I'm not even gonna lie, I did a lot of work today. But one thing I do say is, this car definitely coming along. So, I thought I needed some bolts for the motor mount, but I actually found some, and because before I started to do transmissions and work on cars, I brought my car to a shop one time because I did the clutch. I paid some guy. A little story time, but I paid some guy, and what they end up doing on the transmission, and I found out, you can tell, and then do you see that right there? Yeah, that's a broken. Yeah, that's one of the studs that they broke. So, and on top of it, it was another one posted right here, and they broke that one too. And this one on that side right there, and they broke that one too. So, instead of them, because they end up drilling 2 out. So I was just like, if they can drill out 2, why they couldn't just get out that last one? That's why that's why the reason why I work on cars myself. So that won't happen again. Yeah, that won't happen. So, but I say this car is definitely coming along pretty good. Me being honest and real, I don't think it's really, other than that, really it's just little stuff going on. All the bolts in the belt housing is tight. Right now, I have it lifted, so I have it lifted so at least for the motor mount so to be kind of cure, but it is still having some type of pressure on it. But I didn't tighten up none of the bolts and nothing like that because I don't it's like I said, it's still up there. So, whew, it been a day. But one thing I say, it been a day. Whew, all right. But one thing I say, it been a day. Right now I'm relaxing. But hopefully this video was pretty great. It was very hot. I'm not even gonna lie. It was a couple of stuff that I was putting on, but honestly, it was just the transmission. That's the only thing I just did today, because I knew that was the hardest thing. And if I can knock that out, then everything is smooth sailing from here. Because now it's all I just need is just to get the 3 bolts for the I just had to put in 3 bolts for one of the motor mounts for the transmission mount that's in the back. That's gonna take a little bit because there's no room, and since I like to take off the motor mount off the car itself, but it seized. So that's something I can't really do. How to do things a little bit differently. So that's gonna take a little bit longer. But other than that, then it's just the axles. That's easy. And just the front motor mount, and that's easy too as well. And then just radiator and fluids. That's pretty much what I really need for the car. And other than that, I had to spend some money on a brand new battery because that battery is shot. But I'm not gonna buy a battery until I know, because I got 2 of these, and I know 2 of these should be pretty good. I can do some research, and then I'm gonna see I can rebuild these batteries, because I know sometimes you can put that. I know it's distilled water, and then you just charge it. Some usually just do it that way, but sometimes it's an acid that you can buy, and you can pour that in it too, and it will be work same pretty much, really. Um, but yeah, that's how lead acid batteries go bad. So that's something I want to attempt to do in the future, save some money. And then in the future, I want to get this a really expensive battery. Is I see people race them. It has a self jump start on it. It's a small battery pack. It's very lightweight. I know Honda guys do it. A lot of race Honda guys do it, but is it's a small little battery. It weighs a little lighter than normal batteries, and they have two separate components on it. But they have one that is runs the car, and another one that can self jump start the car. The only thing is, I don't know how many amps that thing take. I don't know, because mine, the battery I had was on 900 amps, starting amps. Yeah, cranking amps. I had 900. So at least for this car, since the bass systems and all the subwoofers, I need a strong battery, because anything that's like the 700 starting like cold cranking amps, it's good. But if my subwoofers and everything how I do, it's not, that battery's not gonna last long, and I'm gonna kill my alternator like I did last time. So um but pretty much, yeah, that's gonna really be it for episode 7. Eclipse build day 7, I think. Yeah, Eclipse build day 7. I was really good about this car coming back together. It's just me being honest and real. But so like I said, I tell you guys the full story. I know now it's a little bit better for me to tell that story, how everything went down. So what happened was, it was a couple of days before when I showed you guys day 6, I think, and when I showed you guys the spider gears that was broken. So I was doing some information, doing some research. I really wanted to put the LSD in there. That's what was the main top goal. What I was about to do is put the LSD and everything. But the reason why I stopped, and the reason why I didn't put the LSD in it, because for me, um, me keep it real. It's not worth me paying $1,300 in, knowing that I have other things I have to handle, and other things like money wise have to spend. Like, of course, I had to pay bills on this Toyota, make sure this Toyota is good and gas for purposes for me doing my daily work, because I do mobile mechanics. So I had to make sure my gas is good and everything else is tip top shape with this car, so I can at least get to the customer. But other than that, this was a good deal. I think I told you guys a little bit earlier with the transmission. I got it for $150. So it's really was a really a good deal. I really think that anybody would have took it, honestly, even though, like, I would say the pros and the cons, because I was gonna put LSD inside this transmission, and I was gonna do it myself because I wanted to get the car back on the road. But I knew that wasn't the very smart thing to do, because I knew down the line something else was gonna break in that transmission. But I was just saying screw it and let me just send it. So, what happened was that transmission came on, so that was really great about it. And I remember he posted it the first time, and the first time my transmission wasn't bad. I was like, oh, someone's selling a 5-speed transmission for $100 something, and I was looking at it too to go and get it. But then I was just like, my transmission is fine. I really kind of didn't really think about nothing. So, but 150 about 100. But yeah, I had to go and delete something off my phone because I ran out of storage, so it just cut out of nowhere. So that's something I had to just edit. So if you see something, that's the reason why. But pretty much, yeah, this Eclipse is definitely getting back. It's very like a surprise. That's one thing I say is positivity is the key. Always make sure that you always treat people how you want to be treated. Always help out others, knowing that you see somebody in need. Even though it's like, if you see a homeless person like on the side of the road, it's always good to just to give them at least whatever, like $5. Maybe you have $10, $20. At the end of the day, you're going to make it back. And plus, it's like the only person who's watching is Jesus. So if some of you do stuff like you treat people, not only it's just like feeding homeless, but it's just about anything. You could be feeding birds, but as long as you treat people how you want to be treated, then um, the energy, God is gonna make that happen. He's gonna put you in places where you're gonna be at the most peace of your life, and then He's gonna be taking out the people who taking out the people who He's not supposed to be around you in your life. I don't know if you guys heard that. That would sound crazy, um, but yeah, this eclipse is coming back. I really didn't think about this eclipse is really coming back. Um, One thing I say is grind never stops and positivity is the key. But I'm not trying to get this video too long, but see you guys in episode day 8, eclipse build day 8. And yeah, she's gonna be back on the road very soon.